Okay, LeetCode problem 232. We're going to implement a queue using stacks. So we're going to use two stacks. So basically the way a queue works is you would have queue equals 1, and when you would add a new item to the queue, you would add it to the end, and so on. And when you're removing or popping something from the queue, you remove it from the front. Stacks are a little different because as you add on new values to the stack, you add something and then you add the other value to the top of the stack and so forth. And when you remove something, you also remove it from the top of the stack. So we have to remove things from different ends. So we're going to use two different stacks. Like I just showed, first in, first out is queue because the first one you add is also the first one you remove. But with stacks, it's the last in is the first out. So the latest change you've made is the first item to remove. And so we're going to implement a push, peek, pop, and empty method on this queue using two different stacks. So to start this off, I'll just initiate a constructor class with this stack 1, and then this stack 2. So just creating two instances of stack, or a constructor for two different stacks. And then our first method is going to be the push method, and in here we're receiving an X object, so the value we're supposed to push. And this one's pretty simple. Like you're adding to a queue, you're adding it from either one end, and so for our stack we use the back end of the queue, so the latest change is going to be the top of our stack. So we'll just this stack 1 push X. So we've got that at the top of our stack now, the latest change. So as they enter the queue, they will also enter the stack from the top. And then our next method is pop. So to do the pop method, we're going to have to pop off the top of our stack 1 and add it to our stack 2 to reverse the order, because pop in queue removes the first end while pop in stack removes the last end. So we have to reverse it. So in our second stack, when we pop off the top, it would be the first value that was added, represented in our queue. So we'll do while this stack 1 length. So while we have something in our first stack, we will stack 2 push stack 1 pop. So we'll push the value to stack 2 that we're popping off of stack 1. So all the items in stack 1 are now popped off the top and moved to stack 2 in that order, so we have it reversed. And then we will just return the popped value from stack 2, because that'll be the first in, first out value. So the first value that was added to our queue in the front end. Next, peek. Peek is pretty much the same as pop, so I'll just go ahead and copy all this because again we need to take whatever is in stack 1 and reverse it onto stack 2, and instead of returning the pop value, we can just return stack 2 length. Yeah, instead of popping it, we can just return the value that's on the top of the stack, because that'll be the first value in the queue. And then our next method will be this empty method to check if either of our stacks are empty. So stack 1 length and this. Yeah, so this not operator, so it checks if, so this stack 1 length would return true if there's something in there. So if not stack length is true. So if stack length has nothing in it, it will return false. So we just return false, or sorry, true. And if not, we return false. So this checks if there's nothing in the first stack and there's nothing in the second stack, we return true because this is empty, and if else, we'll just return false. So this should work, and it does.